The phone is ringing again. Black phone 2. You thought that perhaps when the black phone ended, that was it for the black phone, but other black phones exist elsewhere in various places. And Ethan Hawke is on the other end of them sometimes. This is a sequel that I don't think anyone expected was going to have to happen. But here we are. Alonso, please tell us about it.
Yeah, I think if horror has taught us anything, just because you've killed your villain doesn't mean they can't come back for the sequel, and that's certainly what's happening here.
Hello, Finney.
It's now 1982, 4 years have passed since the events of the previous Black Phone movie. Finn, played by Mason Thames, is still trying to cope with his trauma and doing a lot of self-medicating with whatever skank weed you can buy in rural Colorado in 1982. And his younger sister, Gwen, played by Madeleine McGraw, is starting to have her visionary dreams again. And this time it involves 3 young boys who are trapped at the bottom of a frozen lake. She realizes that that lake is part of a camp where their mother once worked as a counselor. And as they start solving the mystery, they go back to the camp, which is now run by an ex-con named Mando, played by Demián Bichir. They're accompanied by Ernesto, played by Miguel Mora, who in the previous film played Finn's best friend Robin, who was killed by the Grabber. Mora now plays Robin's younger brother Ernesto, who has a thing for Gwen. And the Grabber died the first time around, but we're not done with him yet. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish we were, because this movie has a lot going for it, and none of it has to do with the Grabber. Like, Madeleine McGraw is giving such great performances in both these movies. So all 3 of the young leads are, but her especially, I think, she's a real find. These movies have been a real breakthrough for her, I think. And, you know, connecting with her past and dealing with the fact, you know, her mother, who also had, like, the shine or whatever it is they have, that gives them these prophetic dreams. That's all really fascinating. The dreams themselves are really cool looking. They have almost kind of a grindhouse thing where the color gets desaturated and the focus gets a lot softer. And there's even like the sound of like jarring kind of editing pops. The cinematographer here is named Par M. Ekberg, and he's worked on he did a Jonas Åkerlund film for Netflix and some other stuff. But I was very into that. It's very cool, and the line between Gwen's dreams and reality is at first interesting, and then once the Grabber gets involved, this feels very like Nightmare on Elm Street late in the franchise stuff. And the rules get very wobbly as to who does what, where, and where to the impact, and how it happens in the thing, and the whole thing kind of falls apart, unfortunately. But until they get that hard into that stuff, I think this movie is really cool. I just wish that they had stuck the landing better.
Yeah, Scott Derrickson directed and co-wrote again. He did the first one, and a lot of it is very creepy because the dreams, as you say, look like home movies. They're very grainy, and you see the crackle of the film, like it's like Super 8 film, and you hear even from the beginning when they trot out the old Universal logo.
Yes,
you hear the hiss. One, you hear the hiss of film, and so that gives you a lot of mood, and it heightens your sense of the eeriness because it feels like you're watching some sort of found footage thing. And Madeleine McGraw is really great because she's got to make this kind of crazy premise work. You know, the idea that what's happening in her dreams is manifesting itself in real life and vice versa. And so she's got to like walk that tightrope. There's an incredible shot late in this film where she and Mason Thames are just like walking along the snow next to this phone booth that's just there on the edge of the frozen lake. And it's all one shot. And like they're walking and they're talking and the phone rings and she goes in and she picks it up and the camera pushes in on her slowly. And she is collapsed into sobs by the end of this shot, and it's all one take, and she's got to make that emotional journey in a really short amount of time. And I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, no, that monologue at the end is really impressive, particularly the one takeness of it all. And I just think she is, really destined for big things. And I hope that if nothing else, these movies, kind of put her to whatever the next level is for somebody like her as far as the kind of offer she gets, because clearly she's got the chops. But yeah, I just wish there was a stronger movie around them.
Yeah, I have so many questions about what Ethan Hawke can do in this world now. Right. Like it's so malleable and it's so just convenient for whatever the script needs it to be, because he's in her dreams. He's dead, right? And sometimes the camera movements that Scott Derrickson chooses to like reveal people, including him, it's really cool because someone will be in that phone booth and then the camera will move and like all of a sudden the person that they're talking to who is dead appears outside the glass. And like over and over again, you see like the physical manifestations of the ghostly spiritual beings that they're, talking to. And that's clever over and over again. But then in time, it's like, okay, he is in the dreams, but then he can somehow like, I don't know, go through this membrane where
he can manipulate reality if she's dreaming in the presence of other people. Yeah, they don't really ever lay out the ground rules there, and it gets really frustrating. But I mean, it is kind of cool though. We have so many summer camp horror movies. We don't get a lot of winter camp ones, and they really use like the blizzard and the frozen lake and all of that stuff to really cool effect. In a way that I think, again, a lot of great ideas with this movie. I wish they hadn't felt like we got to bring back the grabber. The grabber is the real, the draw here. It's like you could have worked in some other way in which Gwen's powers and Finn's ability to work with them, in the way that they worked in the first film, took on some other nemesis. But because it's the grabber and because they haven't really quite, the first one's based on a short story and this one is, I guess, an original sequel. They haven't nailed down the rules. And I think you really need rules in a horror movie like this, or else, well, if anything can happen, then how am I supposed to get involved and what do I want to happen or not to happen if it's all on the table,
Right. What are the stakes? Right.
Exactly.
When like the real world can interact with the dream guy. But Mason Thames is very good in this. We just saw him in the live action How to Train Your Dragon. He was really good as a younger actor in the first one, but this really is Madeleine McGraw's story. And Ethan Hawke has to do all of this behind a mask. So funny, I had Ethan Hawke double feature yesterday because I saw Black Phone 2 in the afternoon and Blue Moon at night. Range, baby! But both of them require like facial prosthetics.
Oh, wow.
But he has to do all of his acting behind a mask, whether it's like the full mask or it's the partial mask. Like
even when the mask is off, like there's all these weird face effects going on,
Yeah, so that's impressive that he can create a chilling, sinister mood, given being hampered in that way. But yeah, as it went on, they go to that Super 8 grainy aesthetic too much, and while they also like the rules are messy, they also over-explain other things that don't need to be. Like they show us things that we don't need to see.
I think, and I think this is a problem a lot of times with horror sequels. It's like, well, how do I one up it? How do I move it into past a thing? And it's, you don't, if you worry if you stray too far from the thing that people came to the first time, that they're going to get mad. But then if you do the same thing all over again, that's not great. So I mean, it's a tough conundrum to be in, but these were not good choices.
Yep. Okay, what's your number on Black Phone 2?
I'll say a 5.5, just for the performances and I love the look of this movie. I didn't get sick of the Super 8 the way you did, but I just wish that they had been clearer about what the grabber can and can't do, when and how and why.
Yep. I will say a 6. So yeah, Black Phone 2 is opening wide this weekend. Are you going to see it? Let us know.